So I picked Charlottesville because I'm turning 25, it's our last year in Virginia, and I'd never been to a winery before, nor had I been to Thomas Jefferson's Monticello. I'd been to Mount Vernon, but not Monticello. Our first stop was one of the wineries, not even the hotel. This one was owned by Dave Matthews. All of that artwork you see on the wall, yep, that's his. All of the wines picked out by him, and the grapes you see out in the orchard are the exact grapes they used to brew the wines that we tried. This is us heading out of the winery, off to the hotel again. You see that beautiful, beautiful sunshine on our drive? That's not gonna last. It's only about 20 minutes from the winery to our hotel. And then, something changed. It began downpouring. Instantaneously. Out of nowhere, the skies were gray. We couldn't see shit in front of us. Awesome! This is our first impression of the hotel, shrouded in storms and thunder. It's cute, right? But goddamn. And then it starts hailing! We're sitting in the car, just parking, and hail starts hitting the car. Not very big, not enough to damage the car, but enough to make both of us go, well fucking come on, man.
Oh, this fucking sucks.
But it ends, we finally get inside the hotel, and this is our hotel lobby. We got a king-size suite, which was really, really nice. I just didn't get any footage of the inside of the room because it was rather unremarkable, as was the rest of the hotel. Cozy, but not much to say. The coffee was alright. I'm not a big hot coffee guy, but Miguel was ecstatic. There he is. Look at that man with his coffee. And then we're off to our next stop, downtown Charlottesville. Downtown is historic, and they were currently having a music event or some kind of beer festival where I overpaid for a beer and then sat and listened for the music. Miguel finds a food cart which has Guam food. He loved it. Don't let him fool you. We stop at the liquor store and the grocery store where I embarrass the hell out of him. And then we go to dinner at this incredibly expensive, fancy, dark restaurant. He gets a very, very nice steak, and I stop by the grooming stalls on our way out. This is the first bar we went to. It was alright, pretty quiet. They had a bunch of games and a hammock we couldn't sit in because it was rainy and wet. I had my first ever Blue Motorcycle to drink. That's a bug in my drink right there. But it was alright. It was a nice spot to hang out. After the first drink, I was already quite smashed. But we got tired of it, there wasn't much happening, and the DJ that set up wasn't even as good as the music they were pre-recording prior to the DJ being there. So we moved on next door to what we could only figure was a lesbian bar. Back to the hotel, drink some, go to sleep. We wake up at about 9 in the morning to get ready to leave the hotel, sometime around 10:15. Gotta make it to Monticello early for our 11:15 guided tour. This tour is special and expensive because it's the only tour that allows you to go around the first level of the house. You can just walk around Monticello on the bottom floors, but you don't get to see his bedroom or anything like that. And that's what I really wanted. So that's what we did, and we only had time for that. Okay. Well, you can talk. I'm gonna put music or some voiceover over this.
No, it has to be me speaking about dry facts about our vacation, or else no go.
Yeah, that's gonna make it in the
video. It has to
then.
be me talking about dry facts about our vacation, or else you cannot film me. I do not consent to any recording. Get that phone out of my fucking.
God.
The privy vent. That is where Tyrion Lannister escaped from King's Landing after killing Tywin Lannister in the toilets with the crossbow bolt to the gut. In the famous historical documentary Game of Thrones, it was filmed here actually, and this is exactly where it happened.
Yeah, that's my man right there. So we had a couple of minutes to walk around before our tour actually started. We were meant to group up around 1:05 for our 1:15 tour. We got a chance to explore the garden and just see what they had to offer. Look at that man. Stopped through the cellar, sang the Halo song, and kept moving. This is the first part of our tour where we enter through the main area. The whole thing is incredibly imposing. You're warned multiple times not to touch, not to lean, not to have your flash on. Don't even look at anything too hard or it might fall apart, because 90% of this building is original to the way that it was 200 years ago, including the artifacts on the walls, the structure, the floors. Almost everything here is the way it was when Thomas Jefferson was here. The flags, the maps, the bones, all of it. It was incredibly interesting and fascinating to walk through this house of a guy who seemed so incredibly... I don't even know how to put it. Aware of what he was doing. He was a guy who picked and chose the parts of Christianity that were actually incredibly based. He didn't want any religion in his politics. He didn't want people to talk about religion and politics at the same time, even in his own home. Even if he put stuff in rooms that would encourage that conversation, it wasn't what he wanted. Everything is also incredibly French. I know this will upset multiple of you, and it especially upset that woman who was very, very mad that I was filming. Skylights everywhere, floor to ceiling walls, just for miles. All of those paintings, originals. The mirrors are the same mirrors that were there and reflected the faces of the former presidents and the revolutionaries. The molding, all of it, original. The doors. There's actually a moment here in this clip where I turn on the audio and you get to hear her explain how those doors work. As well as the floors, but we'll come back to the floors. Just take note of those. And here we go. She's about to talk about the doors.
So notice that there are two doors, but I'm just going to use one hand. I want to make sure that some of our younger visitors can see what's going to happen here. So I want to know your idea about how this works. What do you think? Any ideas? Imagine? There's actually a chain under the floor. Apparently some had to be repaired a couple of times. So this is likely something Jefferson saw on his travels. He did go into other countries in Europe as well, getting ideas, again, in those wealthy homes. Ideas like a parquet floor, very French design. All the floors in the house are original. This is the most elaborate, made out of cherry and beech and built by two men working together. One was the Irish carpenter, James Dinsmore, who Jefferson hired to be the lead builder of the house. But he also gave Dinsmore the job of training an enslaved man named John Hemmings. So they built it together. James Dinsmore was paid $200. John Hemmings paid nothing.
Funny story, I actually clipped that right at the end, unfortunately, where she says the funniest part of that story, in which James, being paid $200, said again later that he wouldn't do it again for $400. That was very funny to me. All of these paintings, again, incredibly religious. They talked a lot about how he viewed slavery as this moral failing and yet also viewed black people as inferior. And the whole time it was just drenched in this irony that this man owned 600 people who lived here, and he also viewed them as people who should be freed, and also inferior. Here's a shot of this little tea room in the silver. And then we walk back outside. As you can see, there's quite a bit of fog out there. Normally we'd be able to see the crisp mountain edge of the Appalachia, but thanks, Canadians, we can't at this time of year. Off we walk. There's so many old people that were on this tour. I actually thought it was adorable that they were moving and more engaged in the tour than it seemed the younger people like me and Maguette were. Over here, they point us off into the distance, where if you look through the trees, you can see the rotunda of the University of Virginia. More about the house, more about the construction, and the fact that it took 40 years for it to be fully built in the end. And then we walk by the house with these gorgeous flowers. I kept telling Maguette the entire time we were there that my grandmother would just love this place. The focus on horticulture, the focus on greenery, and the cultivation of seeds and preserving them was fantastic. If you love plants and you love farming and gardens, you will love Monticello. And we're back out here for the final leg of our tour. Stopping at the pond and the garden and talking about all that it took to upkeep it. On our way back on the shuttle, we stopped by his grave with the other members of his family. We didn't get out. We didn't have time. And then we're off to our final winery of our stay. It is Pippin Hill Farms, the most gorgeous spot possible. I was stunned driving up to this. There was actually a wedding party occurring later. There were so many people there who were just so dressed gorgeously, so just happy to be there, smiles and cheering, and me and Maguette come in dressed in jeans and bike shorts and a t-shirt. But honestly, look at that view! Oh my god, the view in the inside of the place was just gorgeous. That sign for the frosé, I wound up ordering that later. This was right before we entered our tasting room. Here we are at the table with the inside. That's our server walking toward our table. That's what we ordered, a turkey club with the cheese board. She gave us 2 free flights of rosé as well as our 2 sample flights. I got the white wine flight, he got the reserve flight. We both loved it, and we wound up ordering a bottle from this winery as well. The frosé, I thought, was fucking awesome. It was very good. Maguette took a sip and nearly threw up. Here's their gardens where they have all of their fresh vegetables and herbs. There's a flower garden down the hill just there. As Maguette walks towards the greenhouse and the chicken coop. This is me with my frosé, just enjoying the view. Progressively drunker. This is where they had the apiary before our server, and I quote, told us, "The bees got mean. The queen bee got mean, and thus all the other bees got mean, and now there are no more bees here."
Chicken, 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 chicken. Ladies.
To look it up because they're so worth it. I haven't been they're the most comfortable thing I've ever worn. Like they're like insanely comfortable.
I like really need sandals. I feel like every time I buy sandals, they just like blisters.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's
but
those are like more comfortable.
these are so the canvas situation.
Yeah, those are just
What's up, little chicken?
yeah,
Hey, bud. What you doing, ladies? Is that your egg? Look at that. Oh my god, that one back there is really pretty.
Oh,
Look at you. Oh my gosh. Look like a little tortoiseshell cat.
Yeah, they're growing like.
Anyway, it was a fantastic time. We eventually looked inside the bag with our wine and noticed that our server gave us a couple of free glasses, as well as encouraging me to take the rosé glass with me when I was done. Which I did. I just stuck it in the bag and we left. It's a nice glass. Here's a B. At this point, I'm pretty fucking wasted. I'm ready to go. But, honestly, overall, we did great. I walked out of Monticello with a hat and a t-shirt, a shot glass, a little bit of rock candy, and a root beer made with honey, which was fucking awesome. Miguette got fucking what? 5 different bottles of wine and a t-shirt, which was the Dave Matthews Band art, which is really, really cool. I can't wait to show that off in the future. My shirt is a Thomas Jefferson quote with something to do with, like, wine being the purpose of life. I had to get it. Come on. I had to. But that's our trip, and this is us heading out of town. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this made you feel like you came with us a little bit. I had a great time, and I will see you all later. Bye.